meet the producer, the entrepreneur, the king of movie making, the specialist, the man that was the biggest independent producer in the world. I mean, a man that I've done so many movies with. Let's give him a great hand to my very, very good friend, Andy. Thank you, Andy. First of all, let me just say it's wonderful to be back again in Hungary. I mean, I love this place. What a fantastic place. I've come here, of course, many, many times in the past. I've come here to work out with my bodybuilding friends. I've come here to visit, to come on vacation. I came here to promote my movies. And of course, I also did a movie here, Great Heat, in 1988. And what a great experience it was to be here and to do a movie with Andy Vania and to enjoy the great workmanship of the Hungarian people, the great acting, the great stage building and all that. So it was really a wonderful experience. But today, I'm here for this exciting event here called Success Day of 2015. I never thought that I'm going to come to Hungary and do a success speech here in Budapest. But here I am with some great entrepreneurs and pioneers, and I love this kind of an energy that I see here in this auditorium. So it is wonderful to be with all of you today. Now let me tell you that before I do a speech, I always do a little bit of informal poll to check out what the people want me to talk about. Because you never know. Sometimes you talk about bodybuilding, sometimes about show business, sometimes I talk about politics, sometimes about stem cell research, sometimes about the environment, and all those different things. So I wanted to know, what does this audience want me to talk about? So the numbers were really interesting. They were kind of all over the place. 40% of the people wanted me to talk about politics. 50% of the people wanted me to talk about show business and about bodybuilding. And the other 10% of the people just wanted their money back from some of my shitty movies that I've done. I mean, come on now, guys. That was like 40, 50 years ago. But seriously though, all jokes aside, wherever I go in the world, people do ask me all the time about what is the secret to success. And I always tell them, the short version of course. I tell them that first of all you have to have a 22-inch bicep. Second is you have to be able to wrestle predators with your bare hands. The third is you have to be able to travel back on time and to save the human race. And the fourth is, of course, you have to have this charming Austrian accent. No two ways about it. Those are the things that you have to have. But today we don't have to give you the short version, today we can do it the longer version because this is, after all, a seminar about success. So today I can talk to you about my 6 rules that made me successful. I believe that these rules can apply to just anybody. It doesn't have to be someone that wants to be a bodybuilding champion or a leading actor or a governor of the state of California or anything like that. Anyone that is interested in excelling, anyone that is interested in improving, those rules are for you. I also want to tell you that I have not always picked many goals and had many visions, but the ones that I had, I went after them with vengeance. I always was very, very intense. I always wanted to be the best. I always wanted to get to the top. I never was happy with just getting by. To me, there was a difference between just living and existing. The majority of people just exist. I wanted to live. I wanted to live fully. Now, that doesn't mean I have anything against those people that just want to get by. If you just want to get by and just be happy, I know there are many paths to happiness. So if that's what your goal is, so be it. But I'm not so sure that that's why you're here today. I think you're here today because you really want to learn and you want to excel because you're hungry for more. You want to also get to the top in your field. So these are my rules here. First rule is find your vision. Now, to me, this is the most important rule simply because if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to go anywhere. You can have the best ship in the world, you can have the best airplane in the world, but if the captain or the pilot does not know where to go, he's going to just drift around and float around, never going to end up anywhere, or definitely at the wrong place. And the same is also with life. If you don't have a direction, if you don't have a very clear vision, of where you go and a clear dream, then you don't know where to go. And I think this is a very big problem. Let me just tell you the way I have created my vision. I grew up in Austria, as you know. After the Second World War, we were occupied by the Allied forces. There was famine, there was starvation, there was misery. And to me, the whole place just felt too small and constricted. I couldn't wait to get out of Austria. I couldn't wait to get away from there because I could not see myself as being working in a factory somewhere or in a shop or to be a farmer or something like that. I couldn't even see myself following my father's footsteps, being a police officer, even though that's what my parents wanted me to do. They wanted me to follow my father's footsteps and to have the traditional Austrian life and to be a police officer and to marry a girl by the name of Heidi and to have a bunch of children and to run around like the Von Trapp family in The Sound of Music. But that was their vision. That was not my vision. My vision was much bigger, much larger. Luckily, one day in school, I watched a documentary about America, and I found myself. I couldn't believe when I saw this documentary, the tall skyscrapers, the monster bridges, the giant freeways with the beautiful cars. I couldn't imagine these huge jetliners, movie stars, Muscle Beach, and all of those things. The Empire State Building was 100 times taller than any building in Austria. I couldn't wait to get there, but of course the question was, how do you get to America? In those days it was not that common of a thing that you just buy yourself a ticket and you fly to America. And then one day I walked around in the town of Graz after my school, and there I saw a sporting goods store where they sold magazines, bodybuilding magazines. And there was on the cover a guy by the name of Reg Park, and he was in a lion car. He posed like Hercules. He looked monstrous, he looked fantastic. And I was so intrigued by his physique, by his body, that I bought the magazine immediately. And I read the article as fast as I could about him, how he became Hercules. Because on the cover of the magazine it said, Mr. Universe becomes Hercules. So I wanted to hear that story, I wanted to read about that. And I read about how he grew up poor in Leeds, in England. And how he trained 4 or 5 hours a day and became Mr. Great Britain. And he continued training and training and training, and then eventually became Mr. Universe. Then he won the title a second time and a third time. And then all of a sudden he was discovered in Cinecittà in Rome to play Hercules. So when I read that, I became more and more certain about my own future. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. When I read about him becoming Hercules, having all these muscles, and then taking these hundreds of thousands of dollars that he made with his Hercules movies, and then buy himself a gymnasium chain, and became an entrepreneur and a gym owner. All of those things is exactly what I wanted to do. I could see myself very clearly, my vision laid out in front of me, that I will become a bodybuilding champion, that I will also get into movies, I will become rich and famous, and go to America, and the rest, of course, is history. And I was so happy that I had a vision. I was so happy that I had a goal and that I knew where to go. Because the simple truth is, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal, if you don't see your future laid out in front of you, every day kind of becomes kind of like a chore. It becomes burdensome. You don't know exactly why you're working hard. You don't know why you're failing, why you have to get up again. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. In America alone, we have 74% of the people that are unhappy with their work. Think about that. Only 1/4 of Americans are happy with their life's work. That is a sad story. When you have a vision, everything you do, no matter how hard you work, brings you one step closer to making that vision become a reality, no matter how many times you fail, no matter how hard you work. I remember during my pumping iron days, people always ask me in the gym, why are you always having this smile on the face? I mean, you work out 5 hours a day, you're struggling and you're sweating and you're lifting, and you smile. And all those other guys in the gym have a sour face because they have to do another set and another rep, and they have to work out. And I always told myself, because I have a very clear vision, I know that every set that I do in the gym, every rep that I do in the gym will get me one step closer to that goal, to that vision that I have to become Mr. Universe and standing on that stage. So I could not wait to do another set. I could not wait to do another 1,000 sit-ups. I could not wait to do another 500-pound in the bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound in the squat. I couldn't wait to do as many curls until my arms fall off. I couldn't wait for that because I know that each and every rep would take me one step closer to that goal of standing on that stage just like Reg Park. You see, when I lifted weights, I didn't just lift the weights in my mind. In my mind, I was lifting the trophy over my head. And I could see myself surrounded by hundreds of bodybuilders around me, looking up at me. And thousands of people screaming out in the audience, Arnold, Arnold, Arnold. That was my vision. And let me tell you something, with the age of 20, my dream and my vision became a reality, and I stood on that stage in London where Reg Park won the Mr. Universe competition. And with the age of 20, I became the youngest Mr. Universe ever. So I knew that my dream and my rules and all of those things worked, that I made it, even though with all the doubters. So this is not only in bodybuilding. But this was not just in bodybuilding. It was with everything like that. It was like this in show business. It was like this when I ran for governor. Whatever big goals that I had, it was the same thing. It was the vision that was so important. I remember very clearly when we did the scene in Conan the Barbarian. We were filming in Spain, and I was crawling through the rocks in Bravo with a